For some reason, Bushiroad decided to introduce the next generic support for each and every nation to be cats. Not that I'm complaining, it's just that why? This video is sponsored by Phoenix Pharos Cards. If you need supplies of singles or splits for Cardfight Vanguard, especially the ones in the video, do check out Phoenix Pharos Cards today, and as a bonus, use the promo code MetaNerd to get an amazing 5% discount. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Willdress. In this video, we'll be going through the generic support that each and every nation, I mean the main 5 nation, actually receive for DBT12. I mean, we kind of see this trend where like each and every nation do receive like one generic support. Most of their skills actually are doing the same thing. It's only like the one part of their skills that is kind of specific to whatever nation that they are in. In this round for DBT12, we actually have 5 cats that are cute as well as provide some form of utility for each of their respective nation. It's actually very nice to see them. It's actually very nice to see Bushiroad kind of go in and do this level of design. Without further ado, let's take a look at what each of these cats actually does for their respective nation. Before we actually go into the video, each and every one of you that is watching currently is eagerly waiting for the giveaway to start. And yeah, the giveaway has officially started from this video aired. So yeah, here's the official start of the giveaway that I mentioned a few weeks earlier. Of course, links and everything to the giveaway entry form are all in the description of this video. So do head down into the description to get the links and start keying in your details for a chance to participate in the giveaway. Of course, as usual, like and share this video as well as subscribe for more love as well as support, as well as hopefully more giveaway, provided of course, you know, this giveaway is doing well for both me as well as my sponsors. Come on, you do need to give them something in return for, you know, more giveaways to happen. This giveaway will be starting from the 24th of July, which is today at the time of the recording, as well as whenever this video is going up, until August 5th. So you have around 2 weeks to, you know, put in your name into the giveaway. And of course, whatever date and time that was mentioned are based off of Malaysia's date and time. So I'm not too sure on what the time zone Malaysia is, but just keep in mind that it is based on Malaysia's time zone. Do read and understand the questions that is in the form very carefully, because it will impact your chances of winning this giveaway. So do be very careful and just read and understand. I know it's a very hard thing to do, especially for TCG players, including myself. So just read and understand it and fill in very, very carefully. Of course, I will have a post for the Q&A in the community tab should you have any questions regarding the giveaway, and I will try my best to reply to your question as soon as possible. The winner for this giveaway will be announced on the 6th of August 2023 via the live stream. I mean, of course, I will schedule a live stream on the 6th of August to announce the winner of the giveaway. So stay tuned for that, and I wish everyone the best of luck in this giveaway. This is the first giveaway that I'm hosting on my channel, so I do hope that you guys will continue your support to my channel as well as the sponsors. They are just the best sponsors that I can have because they agreed to this giveaway. Special thanks to Phoenix Pharos Cards as well as TTC Vanguard for sponsoring this giveaway. Both of these sponsors are the best in the world, and I just could hope for a better sponsor. With that out of the way, let's get started with the video. So the generic support that DBT12 will receive are the Jewel Beasts. They are basically just named after whatever we have currently in our world. All 5 of them actually have almost the same skill. It's just that there's one specific nation that is basically specific to their respective nation. So basically they have the same first skill, which is auto. When this card is placed on Graveyard Circle or put on Garden Circle, cost, put a total of 2 cards from soul or drop that were in the right deck into the right deck face up, and perform one of the following according to the circle this unit is on. The Graveyard Circle will be the nation specific skill. I will cover them in later parts of this video. The second skill in Garden Circle, this unit gets 15k shield until the end of that battle. It's basically using the right deck as a form of resources, which which in my opinion is a very good design touch for designing a generic support for each nation, because currently in any nation you will definitely have the right deck. So by you using the right deck as a resources, it actually opens up quite a bit in terms of designing skills, as well as, you know, just treating the right deck as a resources overall is actually a very good idea. You are able to use the skill as soon as you reach turn 2, because you will definitely have 2 cards from the right deck on the field. You are able to use one of these cats skill. So since we only have 4 cards in the right deck, these 5 cats can only use their skills up to a maximum of 2 times per game. The best thing about this is that they don't really care where your right deck cards are, be it in the soul or drop. They will never go to the damage zone because they are not from your main deck. So yeah, very nice way of utilizing the right deck cards. However, of course, not all decks will want to use this depending on how good the nation specific skill is, because it's not really a good idea to play them unless you are soul blasting them away or just generally does not use any soul at all. Then yeah, you could consider running these 5 cats, but not all of the decks requires you to run these 5 cats in your deck. However, the 20k shield does helps in terms of with surviving into the late game for certain decks. Since you are using like an extra resources, it doesn't really matter in terms of what resources you're using, as long as it's not a counterblast one or a soul blast one. I think it's really good to use it for a 20k shield. The problem here is that you usually do not have enough deck space to run all of these cats, so it's gonna take a little bit of deck testing as well as deck tweaking in order to effectively decide if you want to run them in your deck. So these are the skills that are basically generic for all 5. So right now we're just gonna go through like what of their nation specific skill as well as what deck could potentially use them in their deck for more efficiency boost. First off, of course, we're gonna start with Dragon Empire. We have Raid Jewel Beast Garnet. The nation specific skill is just to draw a card, which isn't really that exciting when you think about it. It is probably the more underwhelming skill as compared to the other 4. But then again, the draw does helps within Dragon Empire basically just draw into more cards, because generally Dragon Empire doesn't really have a lot of hand size, with the exception of Gandiva, because each and every card within Gandiva basically allows you to draw a card. But of course, for the other decks that do run this, it is essentially a 1-for-1 trade, because whenever you call him out, you basically just return your right deck cards to draw 1. So it's basically just 1-for-1. It's not that bad. For the decks that basically want to run this, is basically every single right line within Dragon Empire with the exception of Gandiva. Gandiva really wants the right deck cards to be in the drop zone for more power. With this card, returning the right deck cards back to the right deck isn't really helping Gandiva in any way. Plus, Gandiva has a lot of draw power already, so there's really no point in running this cat thing inside Gandiva. For the rest of the right line, there is a point for you to run him. For the rest of the right line, it's actually not that bad, especially for decks that could Superior Call Grade 1. That could Superior Call Grade 1 from the drop zone. For example, Basagra. This is a Grade 1, so it has a very good synergy with Basagra. The general consensus is that if you are able to Soul Blast out or doesn't really use your soul to begin with, you could just splash this card in and get more value out of those unused resources. Yeah, it's a very good card for Dragon Empire. Of course, it's not really the best, I would say, but I feel like it could help Dragon Empire like just a little bit. Even a little help goes a long way for Dragon Empire. For Dark States, we have Purple Jeweled Beast Alnites. The nation specific skill is Countercharge 1. This is actually a big deal for Dark States, and finally a Countercharge 1 for Dark State that doesn't actually use a soul or counterblast. The current Countercharge within Dark States that we have is basically just costing more resources to get a little bit of resources back. This card giving a Countercharge 1 for any Dark States deck is actually huge. However, due to the nature of Dark State's skill as well as playstyle, this card might not be worth it in any deck. As you all know, Dark States focus more on the soul than any other nation out there. So if you were to return like your right deck cards from the soul out back to the right deck, it essentially is like a -2 to the soul count which could hinder quite a bit, I would say. So not really that great of a card to be run in terms of those decks. But of course, Dark State's right line that Soul Blast quite a bit. For example, Bruce as well as Drajul. Yeah, those two decks could definitely make use of this card here. Both Shield as well as the Counter Charge are equally useful, considering that Dark States is a nation that tends to favor mid to late game, I would say. So for decks that could basically use this are Bruce, Drajul, Chrono Jet, as well as Astoria. For Astoria, you will only have one activation because of the mass form. The mass form requires you to basically banish the whatever OG form that you have in your soul hand or drop. So if you of course want to use the mass skill, you will only have 3 cards in total for your right deck, so you can only use one time in terms of the cat skill. For the other, very nice card, but at the same time I'm a little bit skeptical on how good this card can be in a Dark States deck. Next, for Keter Sanctuary, we have Yellow Jewel Beast Toll Topaz. This cat here has the longest nation specific skill out of the 5. Rearguard Circle, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card from among them with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call it the Rearguard Circle and shuffle the deck. If it is other than during your main phase, rest the call unit. So this card allows for superior calling more stuff from the top 5 while not using any Counter Blast or Soul Blast is definitely a win. Essentially lets you +1 onto the field, since you know you just call him down and return 2 right deck cards and stack the top 5 to call something. Definitely very nice, and does helps you dig through your deck for more pieces. In any deck within Keter Sanctuary is just really good. However, this guy here has the highest chance to brick because it is checking top 5, and top 5 isn't usually like the best consistency out there, but considering that this does not use Soul or Counter Blast, it's actually not that bad. For decks that actually could use this guy here is basically Hexaorb, Majesty Lord Blaster, Tigra, Youthberg, Graham Gray, Solryron, as well as Azel. Most of these decks are just superior calling anyway, so with this in the mix, of course doesn't use crucial resources, I think it's not bad to run this guy inside those decks. The other decks could potentially use them, for example Peanut Butter Overlord, but then again Peanut Butter Overlord relies on you recalling your Blaster Dark. You could run more Blaster Dark inside the deck, but of course why would you waste precious spot on your deck in order to use this guy? It comes down to how your deck wants to utilize your right deck cards. And with this in the mix, it actually encourages people to think a little bit in terms of deck building. And I think it does introduce like a very fun choices to consider when you want to build your deck. Very nice introduction, I would say. For Stoicheia, we have Green Jeweled Beast Almeida. The nation specific skill is basically Soul Charging 2 and choose one of your unit and it gets 5k power until the end of turn. It's a very simple and very straightforward. It basically just gives you soul resources, which is actually very nice for soul hungry right lines that we have currently in Stoicheia. I mean, we do have quite a bit of them. For example, Mystiarch doesn't really have any soul by the time they ride into grade 3, so maybe one card, but then again there are other stuff within Mystiarch that does requires you to soul blast. So this guy here does provide you with 2 soul. It's actually very nice. The small power boost does allows the rearguards to actually be a little bit bigger, and does helps, and of course does help certain decks that requires you to meet the attacking wave for you to actually have a more effective turn. For example, Flakberg as well as, and not to be shut down by 1 damage trigger. It's not going to be game breaking, but any form of power is definitely appreciated no matter how big or how small. This I think is probably not really the most useful one, unless of course your deck is really soul hungry, like you need to use soul every single turn, then yeah, this card is definitely really good. But then again, considering that you will only be able to use this card skill like once or twice, I mean, yeah, maybe 4 soul is definitely going to be enough, but still, it's not like the most flashiest skill out there. For right lines that could basically use are basically Magnolia, Zorga, Flakberg, Maelstrom, Roroa, Leonor, Granfia, and Mystia. The only right lines that basically could get like 1 activation out of this guy here is basically Zorga as well as Leonard, because those 2 decks do have mass form, so that it's a little bit of a shame, but I don't think those decks are really that hungry for soul, so you could technically ignore this card, but of course do keep this as a consideration when you are building your deck. Last but not least, of course, is Brandt Gate White Jewel Beast Syntactica. Probably butchered that name. The nation specific skill is basically choosing a set order from your drop and put put it into your hand. This allows for any set order that goes to the drop to be recycled. So write lines within Brandt Gate, however, the problem is that write lines within Brandt Gate usually do have their ways of reusing the set order from the drop zone already. So I mean, not all of them, but still there's quite a bit of them that actually has like a really good consistency in terms of fetching set orders already. This is basically just one of them that doesn't really use a counterblast, a soul blast, or has any restriction on it. It's not bad. In order to effectively use this card, the write line that uses this card needs to actually place or utilize like a lot of set orders in order to, you know, get a lot of value in terms of getting the set order. So of course, the write lines that usually want to use this, that could consider use this, is of course Orphis or Orphis Mass, Archite, Blitz CEO, Avant-Garde, Eva, Gravidia, as well as Seal. Orphis and Orphis Mass, of course, without a doubt, probably would want this. This guy here is pretty much optional, and considering the fact that Orphis Mass doesn't have enough space to run their stuff already, yeah, it's a little bit tight at this point. Archite, Blitz CEO, and Avant-Garde, their set order are pretty useful. Eva, of course, you know, Eva is Eva. The set order are just stupid. The same applies for Gravidia and Silhouette. These decks rely on their set order like really heavily. It makes sense to actually run this inside the deck, but then again, I am a little bit concerned in terms of your space as well as your consistency. So just keep that in mind. Just keep this card in mind in terms of building this deck. All 5 of these cats are actually providing a really good utility without actually costing you a lot of resources, I would say. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of these 5 nation cats. Will you be playing them, or will you just be keeping them in a binder until, you know, until another write line comes along and fully uses this card to the maximum? Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. And of course, good luck to whoever is joining the giveaway, and hopefully you can be the winner of this giveaway. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.